Everyone, welcome back. Today I'd like to take a look at Rivian. Rivian attracts Volkswagen investment of 5 billion US dollars for the next generation development of electric platform, electric architecture, and software. Now, I don't mean to praise myself here, but I must state the obvious. I've mentioned quite recently that, to simply put it, Rivian is no longer just an electric vehicle company. Rivian is now a tech company also. I made this publicly clear after Rivian announced their autonomous driving software. After they made those huge announcements on the cost cutting that will be enacted with the future Rivian models. After Rivian announced the second generation of the R1T and R1S SUV and pickup truck. I made it very clear Rivian is now a tech company, and I wrote an article that I think will describe everything in a more simply manner. So yes, Volkswagen intends to invest up to 5 billion into Rivian. The two automakers will create a joint venture to discover and to develop new electric vehicle architecture and software for future models. The agreement will be a 50-50 joint venture, granting Volkswagen access to Rivian software to use in their own electric vehicles. The Volkswagen and Rivian partnership will further benefit the former with funds that could be used for further success of the electric pickup truck brand. That's Rivian, of course. This could have a lot of benefits for Rivian. VW has much to gain through the use of refined software for various purposes also. This is an area that Volkswagen lacks. They lack expertise, they lack refining, they lack the ability to deploy this in a competitive manner. If I'm wrong, why haven't they done that already? Now, the new joint venture will create strength where it's lacking for both companies. Rivian requires additional funding and manufacturing expertise. Volkswagen has an abundance of this. They have a lot of funding that they could provide Rivian, and they have a lot of manufacturing expertise that they can provide Rivian with. There is only one thing I'd say, one or two things I don't like about this deal. One, I don't believe that 5 billion is enough. I really don't. I think it should be at least 10 billion. For Rivian software, for Rivian architecture, for Rivian's knowledge, for their IP, their intellectual property, I think it's worth a lot more than 5 billion. Come on now. And Rivian knows this. But I think at that negotiation table, it must have been pretty tough for Rivian to walk away with that decision. You got to remember, Rivian was also working on a deal with Mercedes. And this deal was actually announced and then it quickly just disappeared. It quickly just became, something of the past. So I believe Rivian made this decision based on this is probably the best deal that they could get right now. But it's undervalued. It's undervalued. It's not enough money. Rivian intellectual property is worth a lot more, especially if it's going to be utilized in Volkswagen future models. They're going to be developing software architecture together. It's going to have combined efforts, combined benefits. But I do think that for Rivian, more money would be necessary. Now, I've said how this could benefit Rivian, but it could also benefit Volkswagen in advanced expertise in EV technology. This is what they're lacking. Of course, I said the technology side of things. Their shared interests equals a shared benefit. It really does, but just not enough money for my liking, for my approval. I'm still happy with this partnership because it's better than nothing. This is a lot of companies that are investing in Rivian. It was Ford before they reduced their share. It's Amazon who invested in Rivian many billions and also ordered from Rivian as well for the delivery vans. Now it's Volkswagen and it was almost Mercedes. There are a lot of companies interested in what Rivian has to offer. So the investment coming from Volkswagen will begin with $1 billion into Rivian, and the additional 4 billion will be replenished throughout 2026. Volkswagen now awaits regulators' approval in securing the deal, and they're not the only ones in pursuit of Rivian. Like I said, it's public knowledge that Amazon has been a significant key investor in Rivian. But why haven't they bought the company yet? That's the thing. We don't know why they haven't bought the company yet. Why haven't Ford bought Rivian yet? Why haven't Apple bought Rivian yet? It's really bizarre. For there to be such a great company at such an undervalued price, why didn't they just buy the company? Why didn't Volkswagen just buy Rivian? Why don't you just buy Rivian? It would be perfect. In fact, Volkswagen is making a competitive pickup truck to Rivian. It's called Scouts. If you don't believe me, let's see for yourself. Volkswagen is actually developing a competitor to Rivian, and it's called Scouts. So, with the Rivian platform, with the Rivian software, aren't they just going to replace Rivian with a Volkswagen badged pickup truck and so on? Maybe that's not involved in the agreement, in the commitment. Maybe there's an agreed statement or term that you cannot use it for direct competitive vehicles. I just said competitive. I think you get what I mean. Yeah, you can't use it for an exact sort of vehicle like a pickup truck or an exact type of SUV, but this would also limit Volkswagen. So I can't confirm or deny if there's such agreements in place, but I would guess there would have to be some sort of agreement because literally Volkswagen is working on a competitor. What the hell is a competitor? A competitive version of the Rivian R1T, Rivian R1S. They are. It's called Scouts. I kid you not. And with the Rivian R2 platform and R2 vehicles, this gives Volkswagen a lot more to play with as well. And this is why I say that for 5 billion, that's really not enough. As long as this agreement doesn't stop Rivian from creating additional partnership with other companies, it could be anyone, could be Mercedes, I mean, could be BMW, could be any other company. As long as it doesn't stop Rivian for doing what they just did with Volkswagen, created a new partnership to benefit both companies. As long as Rivian is allowed to do that with future companies. Okay, cool. So let's continue with our articles, right? Now we know that Ford, they sold a major significant position in the Rivian company. It's now down to only 1.5%. A Rivian and Apple partnership or complete company buyout has been long rumored, and I've been one of those who've supported said rumor. In many's opinion, Rivian is the perfect company that awaits a parent company such as Apple, which possesses the funds and stability to see Rivian succeeds. Volkswagen would gain full access to Rivian's electronic architecture and software in their own vehicles once a deal gains approval. Rivian confirmed there have been serious work carried out to ensure the compatibility of Rivian's architecture with Volkswagen vehicles. Rivian CEO confirmed the importance of much needed funding from Volkswagen, making it clear that the funding will further assist Rivian in its pursuit to bring R2 vehicles to the market at lower prices, which is key for Rivian's future success. The Rivian stock rallied over 40% upon this news. Now, there's only one way Volkswagen could redeem my opinion on this. Like I said, I believe that 5 billion is not enough. I think there should be more money being invested into Rivian from Volkswagen for all that Volkswagen will gain from this partnership. I think there should be enough money and more to build a factory for Rivian in Europe. I think at least Rivian should be able to afford to build a factory in Europe and have money left over for various other things. So with all of this being said, the Rivian stock sort of exploded. Yes, the Rivian stock has responded very positively, I must say. And no one really expected this sort of positive response from Rivian, from the stock. We really didn't expect it, if I'm being completely honest. It's quite incredible. You know, when I say to people that this is now a tech company, they really don't believe me, but perhaps you should do some research for yourself. Rivian, the US company, is an electric vehicle automaker and automotive technology business founded in 2009. They only brought their first model to market in 2022 or 2021. I think it was 2022. Okay, what the hell were they doing since 2009? Bitcoin was launched in 2009. So what were they doing? Rivian, like many other companies like Lucid, Rimac, they're technology-based companies that happens to make cars. They can create incredible technologies. They can create partnerships to benefit them because they've created incredible IP, intellectual properties. Lucid is currently doing that with, they're providing motors to Aston Martin. Rimac is doing that. They're providing motors to Bugatti, and Bugatti is now partly owned by Rimac. Rimac has also announced their robo-taxi, providing electric motors and batteries to Verne, that company. So you got to understand, The world is changing of automobiles and technology-based companies. It's really changing. The philosophy behind it is changing. So this is a very positive response from the Rivian stock, and I can see that Rivian fan base is quite happy with this response. But do not expect it to continue, with the price as high as this. As Rivian is a very strong stock, but still, the market is what the market is, and Rivian will have a slow year this year. Next year, 2025, will be a lot more positive for the Rivian company. So, in terms of my newsletter chapter, this is something new that I'm adding to the website. It's just a little share of thoughts from my newsletter. It just says very simple. I've long expressed my opinion that Rivian understands its most important and valuable assets are the company's IP and its ability to establish the company in such a competitive market space, all while utilizing its intellectual properties to attract investors and business partnerships. When a company understands this key principle, everything becomes possible. And this is what Rivian has been exploring with their latest development, the Rivian autonomous software. This was a very much welcome development from the Rivian company. Their second generation R1 models, upgraded performance and range, and autonomous driving software. Brilliant. For one, the interior upgrade is amazing. Exterior upgrade is also quite nice. It's very small, subtle difference, but it's very nice. But the performance boost is out of this world. And Rivian is finally going to introduce the Rivian Autonomy Platform Plus, something that I've been waiting for the brand to do for quite a few years now. And I've long debated and stated that if the company does what I think it will do, it's basically the perfect company for me to invest in. And so far, Rivian is doing everything I want them to do. And I am a shareholder. This is not financial advice, it's just my opinion. But when you share such strong beliefs with a company and you also invest in that company, it's like you're the CEO without ever stepping foot in the headquarters. Yet they're doing exactly what I want them to do because I did some research before I invested in this company. And I sort of realized what they were going to do, and I was like, that's what I would do. And I was like, yeah, I really want to invest in this company, but I'm going to wait for the stock price to fall from $90 to $10. And that's what I did. And I have a very small position in Rivian, of course, but my average buying price for Rivian, £8 65 pence. In dollars, that's probably just around $9.50 or $10 or something like that. So I've actually bought Rivian exactly what I said I would buy Rivian at, like years ago, 2, 3 years ago. I said I'd buy Rivian at $10. That's exactly what I've done. And yeah, it's a small position, but I do it out of shared interest. I intend to buy more Rivian shares. Of course I do. But I always like to invest a small amount, like 1 or 2 shares, do some more research until everything is confirmed. Now, everything is confirmed about Rivian that I wanted to know. Everything. Honestly, the only thing that Rivian could do next that would be wonderful is to create a robotaxi. They don't need to, but the R2 vehicle would be perfect for a robotaxi. Seeing all of these robotaxis coming out from Rimac, Tesla, yeah, this would be quite exciting. So just to finish this video on, VW is in desperate need of staying competitive in the electric vehicle market. With extreme competent vehicles coming out of China to Europe, such as BYD and NIO, this has been sending shockwaves throughout legacy automakers' long dominance throughout the world, but especially in Europe, which is home territory for VW, Audi, Mercedes, and BMW. This partnership will most certainly grant benefits to VW more than the general public has realized thus far. This is what I mean. 5 billion is not enough. Rivian is worth more. Their IP, their intellectual property is worth more. If I'm Rivian, I'd be like, you need to invest so much money into me. I want to build a new factory in Europe. I want to guarantee bring my new models to the market. And I'll have 2 factories in the US and at least 1 factory in Europe. That's what I want, at least from Volkswagen, for the next 3, 5 years during this partnership. So I hope this 5 billion turns into more. I hope. I hope. But as Rivian grows as a company, it's going to become more expensive to invest in them, and that's the way the business work. So I've made it clear that Rivian is now a technology company without a doubt. It takes a closer look at the company's product to make this realization that it's more than an EV automaker. They're building computer on wheels, with autonomous driving being their next big step, similar to that of Tesla. That's what I mean. Their technology is a computer on wheels. So how can you say that's not a technology company? It is. This is what they build. Battery packs. They build motors. They're building the entire vehicle. How can you say they're not a technology company? Yeah, you're wrong. But listen, I'm very excited for Rivian's future. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our newsletter, check out Monument website, and leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you in our next video. Peace.